over the last few years, there's been a few questions going around, especially in the last 7 years at Grimsby Town. Uh, who's better, Alan Buckley or Paul Hurst? That is a question that I'm going to be looking at in this video. How are we doing? It's Dean. I'm back again with something for the Grimsby fans a little bit different to what I've done normally. I also have an announcement at the end in regards to an upcoming event coming up, which I will be promoting at the end of this video, so look out for that. But yes, back to this, back to the video. There's been this sort of question over the last couple of, last 10 years really. Who's been the best manager? Who is the best manager that Grimsby's ever had? Is it Alan Buckley or is it Paul Hurst? And like I said in this video, this is what I'm going to discuss, and I want you Mariners fans to really get involved in this and really give me your opinion on that. So I'm going to give you a few statistics about both managers and my personal opinion on both managers and why I stand where I stand with it. First, we'll start with Sir Alan, who basically he came to Grimsby for the first time in 1988, and he stayed his first time around until 1994. We had quite a bit of success under Alan in that period, and obviously that kind of ended acrimoniously when he left for West Brom in 1994. It didn't go down very well with the town support, because I was only young at the time, and I was only 7 when he made that move. But I do know that a lot of town fans were kind of disgusted in Alan that he left the way he did, you know, and I remember it was the season after he left us when we played West Brom. Alan couldn't believe the atmosphere and really the disdain towards Alan at the time, and I think it was just hurt. They couldn't believe the way that he left, and all that was forgiven in his second spell. Alan was also here between 1997 and 2000, and Alan Buckley gave us probably the greatest period in the club's history. He was here from the second time round, from May 21st, 1997 till August 22nd of 2000. I remember his sacking the second time round. I thought it was slightly a bit harsh, only 2 or 3 games into the new season, and you sack the manager. It just seemed very, 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 very strange for Alan. But nothing can take away what he did in those 2.5 years that he spent at Grimsby. You know, a league and cup double, yes, playoff, but also the what is now the EFL trophy within 6 weeks of each other. You know, winning the trophy first against Bournemouth, then winning promotion against Northampton. That will never be forgotten, what Alan Buckley did there. And it kind of shows how much love he has for the club, because we all know that Alan returned back on November the 9th, 2006. And we were never going to really say no to Alan Buckley, were we, after the last 2 successes? And we had a little bit of success under Alan the third time round. Obviously not as much, but we did make an LDV Vans Trophy, Johnson's Paint Trophy at the time. It was the LDV when we won it. but the Johnson Trophy final we made again under Allen, but this time it didn't really have the effect that he would have liked it to have had. And I'm sure us as Grimsby fans would have liked us to have had. He started his reign on November 9th, 2006, and that came to an abrupt end September 15th of 2008. And I think that third time, it didn't click. We still played the good football under Allen, but it just didn't click that third time round, really. And, it's unfortunate. If you look at Allen's overall managerial record in general, his best record as a manager was actually at Walsall as caretaker and as full-time manager. He had his best spell in management, shall we say, statistically at Walsall. And also, he's as loved at Walsall as he actually is at Grimsby. Pretty much the same. They both, regard Allen as probably the greatest. Maybe more for Walsall as a player, but I know that both clubs, hold him in very, very high regard. As well as his little stint at West Brom. I say little stint. He was actually there 3 years, practically, or 2.5 years. Sorry, he was at West Brom. He then also spent time at Lincoln City. You ask Lincoln, the opinion of Allen is not as well received, and a little spell at Rochdale. Only a small spell there. Not a bad record for the few games that he had. But I think Allen, if you look at Allen's overall ratio of statistics in charge of Grimsby, his 3 spells at Grimsby. His first spell started June the 6th, 1988, ran till October 20th of 1994. In that time, Allen managed 327 games. He won 130 of those, drawing 88 and losing 109. That basically gave Allen a first win rate at Grimsby of 39.76, which I round up, I would say 40%. The most successful period in regards to winning things under Allen, which was obviously the double winning season. In his 3-year spell, the second time round, he managed 175 games. He won 67. He lost 63, and he drew 45, with roughly a 38% win rate. His final spell at Grimsby between November 9th, 2006 and September 15th, 2008, he managed 97 games. He won 33, he lost 41, and he drew 23, with a 34% win rate. So, relatively consistent. I've got to say, the football that we played under Allen as well was quality football. Whether we had a gritty edge under Allen, I think a lot of fans will be split on this. They'll say Alan Buckley all the way, because we were playing at higher levels. Not always, not in Alan's first spell we weren't, but in general they'll say, we're playing at higher levels, better teams, so you take that into account. I do, but I think also statistics count for something. That's what they're there for. Our football under Alan was beautiful. I know he started his football career, at Nottingham Forest as a forward, and if I think correctly, he just missed the Clough era. He left just before the Clough era at Nottingham Forest, but you can see, I'm sure he spoke a lot to Brian Clough over the years. You could see his style, I think, was based a lot on Clough's morals of football. Played on the floor, more like carpet football more than anything else. And you can't really knock the way Alan got any of his clubs to play, especially the success he had at Grimsby. As a striker himself, as a player, he was reasonably prolific. I mean, he spent as a player, he literally spent most of his career at Walsall. Between 73 and 78, he scored 125 goals in 241, and another 178 between 79 and 84, and scored another 49. He was a very, very prolific striker, which is a bit ironic because so was Brian Clough. Brian Clough was a striker as well, and I think that's what I get the sense. Strikers like playing the attacking football, and especially of Alan's era, it was how they played the ball, as silky as they did. The pitches were nowhere near as good as they are now, and I think I could understand why he got that mentality as a player. Quite astounding, really. And I think, like I said earlier, the style of play was better, but I'm going to compare that now to Paul Hurst's run as Grimsby manager. I'll take it as well with the joint time that Paul had with Rob Scott, and we'll just sort of compare the two. Now, if you look at Paul Hurst's time, just his time in charge at Grimsby, I'm not going to go everywhere else. Well, we might talk about his little stint at Shrewsbury when he left Grimsby in 2016. But if we look at this, obviously he came into Grimsby as part of a double act with Rob Scott. They were appointed March 23rd, 2011, and they worked together till September 19th of 2013. In that time, they played 132 matches together. They managed, they played. They won 59 of those. They drew 38 and they lost 35 with a 44.7 win rate. So you round it up, a 45% win rate. Very, very good. A little bit I will tell you about Paul. Paul has spent most of his career, if not really all of his career, at Rotherham United. And I believe he played as right back. I believe he was a right back in his playing. No, he was a left back. There you go. I'm just looking at the information on Paul. He was a left back, and he was a sided defender, but I wasn't quite sure which one. He was a left back, and he played majority of his career, well, if not all his career, really, at Rotherham between 1993 and 2008. He made 438 appearances for Rotherham as a player, scored 13 times, and then right at the end of his career, he played 17 times for Burton Albion. Now, this is going to be my contrast between Alan and Paul. Alan is a striker, so he was more probably proactive on the attacking front. And people always just think, Paul's a bit more conservative with the way that he plays. Well, that isn't strictly true, is it? Because if we look at the time after that first initial spell with Rob, he then took over the reins solo when Rob Scott left on September 19th, 2013, and he managed Grimsby up to the 24th of October 2016. So he actually had 3 years on his own. So he'd actually been there over 5 years up to that point. And on his own, in his first spell, he managed 182 games. He won 90 of those. He drew 46 and he lost 46. That is a 49.5% win rate for Paul Hurst on his own over the 3 years. Nearly a 50% win rate, which is better than Alan Buckley's. Alan Buckley technically, he didn't hit a 50% win rate, a 40% win rate at Grimsby. So you look at it from that aspect, who was more effective? Because if you go further down, from when he left Grimsby acrimoniously, I believe, on October 24th, 2016, he went on to join Shrewsbury, who were bottom of League One at the time. And they love him over there at Shrewsbury. If you talk to any fan of the Shrews about Paul Hurst, they hold him in fantastic regard. And we'll just quickly say this because show this, for example, between October 24th, 2016 and May 30th, 2008, he managed 97 games at the Shrews. He won 47, he drew 23, and he lost only 27 matches, and that was in League One with a 48.5% win rate. So practically a 50% win rate at Grimsby the first time round on his own, and a 45% win rate with Rob Scott. He then carried that on at Shrewsbury to a 49% win rate at Shrewsbury. And you can see where I'm kind of starting to go with this, because when he came back, he had spells at Ipswich and he had spells at Scunthorpe, similar to Alan. When you look at it at Lincoln and Rochdale, they just didn't work. Ipswich was never going to work, and Scunthorpe, well, to be honest with you, I don't think I'd want to work under Peter Swan personally, and I think that's where that fell apart. I mean, he still got a 32% win rate there. Miraculously, how any manager gets 32% at Scunthorpe, I do not know, but there you go. But then when he's come back after replacing Ian Holloway on December 30th, 2020, he's managed around about 75 league games since then. He's won 32 of them, he's drew 16 of them, and he's lost 27. You'd probably say at Grimsby it is his worst win rate, but that's still a 43% win rate. You've got to roughly say it's around about a 54% win rate, or 48, anywhere between 48 and 54% win rate altogether at Grimsby Town. It's absolutely phenomenal. But I know he kind of splits the fan base. I think hopefully now, not as much after what he's done. You know, the styles of play, Allen's was very get the ball down, pass it, move it. You know, and you look at some of the signings that Allen made during his time at the club. You know, players like Kingsley Black, players like Gary Birtles, players, like trying to think of some more. Dal Clare was a signing of his. Paul Futcher, of course, Futch. We also had his son Ben. That one didn't necessarily work out for Ben in later in his career, but big Paul Futcher. He was only here one season, but my God, do we love him here at Grimsby? And they are all, Kevin Donovan, Steve Livingston. They are all Alan Buckley signings. If you look at the same similarity, really, with Paul's signings, he signed James McEwen, he signed Craig Disley, he signed Nathan Arnold, he signed Alan Connell, he signed Liam Hearn, and need I go on and on and on. There always comes to be a period where there's just clubs where it works. And Alan and Paul fit Grimsby like an absolute glove. And they really, really fit like a glove. What's important in this video is to state that if you were to look at the overall statistics of Alan Buckley and Paul Hurst, you would technically say, statistically, Paul is the better manager. Statistically, there's no lie. Statistically, Paul has done better at Grimsby than Sir Alan. But my opinion is, and I spoke to a close friend of mine after the playoff final, I can't put Paul above Alan, above Sir Alan. And it's amazing how we started to say Sir Alan. I can't put him above Alan Buckley, but I can put him on par with Alan Buckley. And I think you've got to, because there's one thing that puts them on par, and why I put them on par. Whether you like Alan or you don't, whether you like Paul or you don't, there's one thing that ties these two. Every single player that has played for Paul Hurst and has played for Alan Buckley respect them. The reason why I believe both these men have had the success at Grimsby that they have had, and Paul continues to have, and Alan will always have at Grimsby Town, is the players they had at the club at their times bought into everything they did. Bought into absolutely everything they said. Made it so the camaraderie between the players and the club was just unmatched for the two. Like I've said, statistically, Paul Hurst is the better manager. But because of what Alan did over really his first two spells, he did a decent job in his third spell, but, over his first two spells, if a lot of people say Sir Alan, are we getting close to saying Sir Hurst? Because it's just, when you look at it, they're very different in style, but they're very, very similar. They're both winners. They may do it slightly differently, but they're both winners. I believe this is mainly for the Hurst doubters. Same with Alan. Obviously, when people reacted when he left for West Brom. I remember the statement Paul Hurst made when he called us all spoiled. I know that didn't go down very well with supporters at all. But, you know, the way I look at it, if you look at both of them, they both deserve probably that accolade. Fans will say, yeah, but Alan was in a different period. We were in higher leagues under Alan. You know, we weren't in non-league under Alan, whereas we were under Paul. But if you look at the success of both managers, they're on par with each other. Paul deserves as much respect as we give Alan Buckley. Some fans are going to disagree. Some fans are going to agree. I personally put them on par, but statistically, Paul is better. You know, but I want to get you guys' opinion on this, Grimsby Town fans' opinion on this. I personally believe that they are on par, and it's mainly because of how they got teams together. You know, the players believed in what Alan and what Paul are saying, and that's where success comes from. They bought into everything that was being said. Did every signing work? It never works for any manager. So we can't judge it on that, because there's been signings under Paul that hasn't worked, and there were signings under Alan that just didn't work. You know, and unfortunately you get those. But my take is on it, once again, they're on par, but statistically, Paul is the better one. But I can't really split them because of what Alan did for Grimsby in the first place. So I want you guys to tell me, what do you think? Do you rate Paul over Alan? Do you rate Alan over Paul? If so, how and why? And I were in my camp where you would put them on a par. And like I said about getting the squads to work together. You know, it'd be interesting to see what you guys think, to the wider range of Grimsby supporters, what you really think about this. You know, so I want to know. And leave your comments down below, and, you know, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Before I go from this video, I have been asked by somebody on last night, asking me if I can plug an event, which I will. This is for Simon North. He sent me a poster. I think everyone knows a little bit about this. It's a night of remembrance sort of thing. Reminiscing with the Ginger Pillow, Mr. Craig Disley, and of course the fantastic Nathan Arnold. We all remember that round the keeper goal at Wembley against Forest Green. Well, they will actually be at Blundell Park on Friday, July the 22nd. So that is around about 2 weeks' time. On the 22nd of July at Blundell Park. The doors do open between 6 p.m. For VIPs and 7 p.m. for the standard. This night does feature a comedian, a raffle, and an auction as well. If you want to get tickets, do visit the website or the shop that is on Unit 1 and 2, Garth Lane, Haven Mills, Grimsby. That's DN31 1RS. That's DN31 1RS. You can also go, the website is www.NOR/LAIT, I think it's late, but I can't pronounce that properly, LAIT.com. That's www.NOR/LAIT.com. And that will give you all the information for Norlight. That'll give you all the information You need about the evening. If you would like to go, do go and enjoy what will be, I'm sure, a fantastic night to reminisce with both Nathan Arnold and Craig Disley. So if you are around on the 22nd of July and you fancy a night out, why not go to Blundell Park and reminisce with those guys? Why not? So, yeah, do go and hopefully check that out on the evening. It should be an amazing evening, and I'm sure Craig and Nathan will love reminiscing, especially about that promotion season. And you know something, ask Nathan about when he first joined us on loan from Cambridge, because he joined us the season before on loan from Cambridge. I'd like to know from Nathan when he felt, he could feel success brewing. But it should be a great night, so do go and support that night, and do go and enjoy the night, the night of reminiscing, shall we say? That'll be it for this video. If you do have an opinion on the Paul Hurst Alan Buckley debate, I don't think there's a debate anymore, but if you have an opinion on where you stand between Paul Hurst and Alan Buckley, do leave it down below. Do leave it on the message boards as well. Do so. I'd love to get Genuine Mariners fans' opinion. And please like, please subscribe, please share this so everyone knows I'm around. Hello, I'm there. And I will see you guys very soon. Just before I go, I have got League 2 predictions and National League predictions as well coming up in the next week or so. I'm getting everything prepared for that, so look out for League 2 predictions. They are on the way. I'm hoping to do probably League 2 the beginning of next week, and if you are a National League follower of this channel, I'll be doing that towards the end, probably Friday of next week will come the National League predictions. So that's about it from me. I hope you enjoy my waffle, and I do want to get your predictions on this. Which side are you on, Alan, Paul, or both? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys very soon. See you for now.